Hello everyone, my name is Josiah and this is the DMB spread control. This is one of my favorite controls to do because it's so clean. They just touch a card, they look at the card, you come back down, the card is sticking out the entire time, and then you pushed it in, but before you even pushed in the card is already controlled to the bottom of the deck. Let's get into it. Welcome to the tutorial for the DMB spread control. This is one of my favorite controls to do, simply because I really love the very nature of this, in that you just spread the cards and they touch a card, you show them the card, you just come down, the card's still sticking out, and yet you're still able to see it to the very last second, and yet still able to be on bottom. So we're going to be using the purple monarchs for this tutorial, and obviously, as always, the link will be in the description if you want to pick up that deck of cards. I'll just leave them here. But we're going to start off, we're going to learn the first version of the DMB spread control, which basically what this means, we're going to be learning what this is called the convincing control by Ed Marlowe, and this is the control that the DMB spread control is based off of. So we're going to be learning this first, then we'll move on to the DMB spread control. So let's start off with this. Basically what you're going to do, you're going to have your spectator touch a card. Let's say they touch this card. You're going to come up to show them the cards. And as you come up, what you're going to do is you're going to square up two cards as one. They don't have to be perfectly square, but they have to be relatively close. They don't have to even look like one card, you just have to basically show them. So you basically come up, you show them like this, okay? And you're going to come back down. The down action in both controls is what this is really going to allow you to do. So once you have them squared up like this, you're going to come up to show it, then you're going to come back down. And as you come back down, what you're going to do, and I'll show you this from this angle, you're going to pull with this fingers, you're going to pull this bottom card, which is the card they just saw, out, and you're going to come down like this. So it's going to basically out-jog an indifferent card that they think is their card, and that's the convincing control. So again, from the beginning, you have them touch a card, you square it up with another card, and sorry if you hear my brothers in the background, but you come up to show them like this, you come back down, and as you come back down under the cover of coming back down, you just come over and down like this, and you get to hold this card out as what we call a cold card, basically meaning it's just going to ride underneath the spread to the bottom of the deck, just like that. So I'll run over the convincing control one more time. You're just going to spread the deck, you have them touch a card, you square them up as you come up, you show it like this, you come back down, and as you come back down, you get the card like that, and then it rides underneath the spread to the bottom. And now, of course, once you square up this card, it doesn't even matter. Before it's even squared up, it's already on the bottom. So that is the convincing control. Now, let's go focus on the DMB spread control. Alright, so the DMB spread control uses a similar principle, but it is a little bit more difficult because you don't have the two cards already together during the DMB spread control. And once again, the DMB spread control looks like this. You have them touch a card, you out-jog the card, you come up, you come down, and you show it's out-jogged till the very last second. We push it in, and it's on the bottom. So basically what you're going to do, you're going to spread the deck. And the spread is very important because normally when you spread cards, you spread them kind of like this, where you're just kind of pushing with this thumb and creating this curve, which is really nice and aesthetically pleasing. What you're going to do, you're going to have to spread in a very straight line like this. So the way you do this is you're going to hold the deck in this grip. You're going to have your thumb. I want to kind of come here so you can see it better from this angle. Your thumb's going to be along this side, your index finger's going to be on top, your pinky's going to be on bottom, and these two fingers are going to be on the other side like this. Okay, this is sort of like a modified mechanics grip. This is mechanics grip. This is the grip we're going to be using. Then you're going to come over and you're going to spread, and as you spread, you're going to use your index finger kind of on top. I like to kind of keep it underneath, but more importantly, your pinky is going to be at the back, and it's going to prevent the cards from going in that curve. It's going to be a very straight line spread. It's not as aesthetically pleasing as, this is, but the control won't work if you don't spread the cards like this. So, basically, you're going to spread the cards like this. You're going to have them touch a card. Once they touch the card, you're going to out-jog that card. And the position of the out-jogged card is important because what you're going to do, you're going to out-jog it about halfway up, like this, and you don't want to out-jog it like this where part of it's sticking out the side. You're going to want to out-jog it so that basically the only part the spectator can see is this top half of it, but the bottom half is completely covered by this card in the spread. Then, this is the important part, you're going to thumb over one more card like this. You don't want to make it super obvious. You're going to thumb it over just like this, so it's really the two cards that are the most out, I guess, of the deck that aren't so tightly in it are the card they've just touched, and you're in different card. Hint, hint, this is the card you're going to push out in a second. But basically, you're going to get to this position, you're going to come up and show this card here to them. In this case, it's the 4 of spades. You're going to show to them. Once they memorize it, you're going to come down. And once again, coming down, this is where the important action happens. This is where it gets difficult because we're going to want to simultaneously pull this card back and push this card out at the same time. So it's going to look like this without the cover. It's going to look like that. Okay? And I'm going to cover a couple of the subtleties that will help you to make this look as good as possible in a second. But once you have this card here, you're going to come up from beneath. What you're going to do, you're going to pull this down as you push this up. This is going to come out of the spread. And once again, you're just going to end in the same position where you have the out-jogged indifferent card. Their card is going to ride underneath the spread to the bottom. But this, obviously, the action is different because you have to push a card out and pull a card in at the same time. So let's go to a different location and we'll cover a few more subtleties as to how you can achieve this. Okay, so I'm going to cover a couple of the subtleties and nuances of performing this. So the first thing you might notice is that when you push this card out, you might be pushing multiple cards out. Now there is a way that I like to fix this sometimes. First off, people don't ever really notice this, but just to fix for, because, some people want to fix this. If you end up pushing multiple cards out, once you come back down, as you're spreading the deck to put this card on the bottom, what you can do is you can actually kind of square everything up as you spread. And what I mean by that is, let's suppose you've come back down, you've pushed multiple cards out. You can kind of push and make sure that card is the only one sticking out just like that by kind of just using your index finger to help guide those cards back into place as you spread them. That's one subtlety. Another subtlety that you might, nuance you might notice is a better word, is that when you come back down, when you push the card out, it won't come out perfectly straight. It's very hard to get it to come out perfectly straight. Don't worry about it because don't make the first card perfectly straight. If you make this first card, don't purposely make it like super crooked, but don't make it like perfectly straight like this. Just let it kind of be like this. And that will be way better because now you won't be able to tell the difference, if anyone's watching that closely, between the first out-jogged card and the second. And even if they come out completely horribly wrong, I've had that happen before, no one ever really notices. It still works out just as well. And especially when you script the cards, no one will ever notice. One more thing I might add is one thing you might notice is your angles. Make sure you're practicing your angles so when you come down and do this, don't have the cards like this, because then they'll be able to see that cold card. Rather, what you want to do, and it's easier to do this if you stand up, is that you'll want to, when you come back down, tilt your hands downward just a tiny bit, not like this, but just a tiny bit more, and that'll help to hide that cold card that's being controlled to the bottom. I'm just going to show you a quick trick you can do with this for anyone who's managed to stick around this long. A trick you can do with the DMB spread control is that you can start by doing the control. So they touch a card, they look at it, you leave it in the middle. Obviously you're doing the DMB spread control. You can also do this with the convincing control as well. The card is now on the bottom, so what you can do is you're going to push this in, and then you're going to Gambler's Cop this card away. And Gambler's Cop is just this position here. So you Gambler's Cop this away as you set the deck here. They can shuffle it and do whatever they want. What you're going to do is you're just going to do a basic card to pocket. You can just slip this card into your pocket as you're sitting. Then you can stand up, you say, hey look, there's a card in my pocket, and it's that card right there. And that's just a quick trick you can do with the DMB spread control. And when you do this, one thing it's a little bit difficult to do, but you can do it if you want. I don't prefer to because I just think, it's too many actions, really. But if you show the card here, you come here like this, you put it on the bottom, and as you put it on the bottom, you kind of slip it into a Gambler's Cop. You can just come right back up with the deck here, just like this. So the card is already in the Gambler's Cop. You set the deck here, and they have the out-jogged card here. you have your Gambler's Cop card here. You can just bring this down and you can do whatever you want with it from there. But that's one really cool way you can use this. I prefer to do Gambler's Cop after the out jog, and the reason why is because they really have to force that explanation on them when you do the Gambler's Cop in the same action, because the only explanation, at least for magicians at least, would be that you did the DMB spread control. Whereas you can turn this into a bit of a magician fooler situation, where you can sort of push this in, then do your Gambler's Cop. So you could have, that could have been any number of controls in order to do that. And so yeah, those are just a couple of the subtleties and nuances and things you can do with a DMB spread control. I hope you take this out, practice it, learn it well, and I hope to see you in the next video.